What does a counseling session with an autistic client look like? Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm a counselor in training, currently a master's student at Northwestern University. I'll be graduating in December, and I am also an autistic person. Generally, when I see an autistic client, like with most of my clients, I'll begin with asking them how their week was. This generally goes into talking about their homework for the week. A lot of times with autistic clients, their homework involves spoon theory, making sure they have enough spoons to get what they need to done. For many autistics, getting everything you need to do done can be extremely overwhelming and damn near impossible. So instead of making sure the client has enough spoons or energy to get everything done that they need to, we'll work on making sure they have enough spoons, energy, to get one or two small things done that are important to them. And then we'll work up from there throughout the course of therapy. Generally, when we talk about their homework and spoon theory, I generally have them make sure they take enough time for themselves, not producing any spoons, so that they can get done those few things that we have planned for them. This can help build confidence and help them feel good about themselves, help them feel productive. Even if they're not able to get everything done on their list, they were able to do a couple of small things. They were able to do the dishes, and their work for the week was done. They were able to make their bed. They were able to wash and dry the laundry. They may not have been able to put the stuff away. They may not have been able to put the dishes in the cabinets or fold the laundry, but they were able to wash and dry it. And that's the important thing. Helping them feel like they've accomplished something. Sometimes they'll find that they have more energy than they originally thought they would. So maybe they're able to wash and dry the laundry and do the dishes, but they don't have enough to put everything away. Maybe they have enough energy to go to the store and do the shopping for the week, but then they have to have somebody else put the groceries away for them. That's fine. That is what therapy is for, to help find ways of living life as best as you can. Also, what we talk about in therapy could be challenges of the week, could be the trauma the autistic individual has gone through that has burnt them out, that has forced them to mask, that has caused the development of their BPD. A lot of times, though, the counseling session with an autistic client it'll look like a conversation of just shooting the shit, essentially. I like to touch upon one or two goals in the counseling session and then have the client take over from there. I don't think the session should be led by the counselor all the time. There are certain elements in the session that absolutely should be led by the counselor. But ultimately, it comes down to what the client wants to talk about. There have been times when I've sat with a client and for half an hour it's just been complete silence. There have been times when a counseling session has looked like an info dumping session where the client talks about their special interest. It's whatever the client needs it to be in that moment. We as counselors are often painted as these people with all the answers who have specific plans for our sessions and everything, and how a session should look like this, this, and this. I work with a lot of neurodivergent clients who are autistic, clients who may be on the schizophrenia spectrum, clients with ADHD, borderline personality disorder, stuff like that. And so sessions can look a lot differently than they may look for somebody who is just dealing with marital problems, or somebody who is just dealing with depression, or somebody who's just dealing with anxiety. It's really led by the client. The client will show you where they want to go in their session. And like I said, sometimes it can just be info dumping. Autistic clients need to share their special interests with people, with somebody, anybody. It makes them feel like they matter, like they're providing something to somebody. And a lot of times, society doesn't want to hear it. A lot of times, parents, family members, friends will ignore them, or kind of push them aside, or just get exhausted with the info dumping. So in session, if a client begins to talk about their special interests, I'll encourage it. I'll have them share what they like about it with me. I'll have them share facts with me. And it just takes that little nudge of saying, it's okay to share your special interest here. That gets them going off on this whole thing. And that turns into a conversation. You can ask about their special interest. You can ask about some of the things they're talking about. It's okay. A therapy session with a neurodivergent client does not have to look like a typical therapy session. There have been times I've sat on the floor with a neurodivergent client. Typically when we think of a therapy session, we think of somebody sitting in a chair and another person sitting either in a chair or on a couch or something, or laying down or whatever, and the therapist having this very stoic, very proper look, very professional. I like to have my sessions very relaxed, very intimate, very neuro-affirming. I like to make sure that the individual knows it's okay to be who they are. The lighting in my office, I don't use overhead lightings. We have a shared office for the interns. And so when I have a client in there, no one else is in there with me other than the client. And I don't turn on the overhead lights. Our office is in the middle of the floor, so there's no windows either. And I have 3 lamps I turn on. One behind me, one in front of me, and then one small table lamp next to the client. That provides a very intimate and sensory friendly atmosphere. And I apologize, it's allergy season. I'm starting to develop bronchitis, so that's why I'm kind of stuffy. And generally, during the session with a neurodivergent client, when they know that you're accepting of them, that you're understanding them or trying to understand them, that it's okay for them to stim, I keep fidgets all over my office. They're more likely to connect with you. Like I said, it's okay. If they don't want to talk, it's okay to just sit in silence. I've done it. I've done it in my practicum group. I've done it with clients, just sitting in silence. I don't force them to talk about anything they don't want to talk about or aren't ready to talk about. Therapy should be about the client and helping the client to improve their life as they see fit. Now, there are things like safety that we have to take into account, where maybe we have to challenge the client a little bit more to make sure they're safe and other people are safe. But it's okay to just be relaxed, to be maybe a little unprofessional in the therapy session with a neurodivergent client. Once I graduate, I'll take my licensing exam for my LPC, Licensed Professional Counselor. In the state of Illinois, what that means is I'll have to work as a counselor under supervision for 2 years at least. After that 2-year point, I can take the licensing exam for my LCPC, Licensed Clinical Professional Counselor. And what that means is I can go off on my own, work independently, start my own practice. When I get my LPC and continue into my LCPC, I plan on being a counselor for neurodivergent individuals, specializing in autism, but helping the neurodivergent community as a whole. My primary caseload right now involves a few individuals on the schizophrenia spectrum. And in many ways, it's a lot like working with an autistic person. In other ways, it's like working with somebody with ADHD or borderline personality disorder. In other ways, it's difficult but fulfilling. And I've found a real passion in working with the neurodivergent community because I myself am neurodivergent. As counselors, we need to stop being afraid of working with clientele that we don't understand. Just be yourself. Have a conversation with them. Challenge them a little bit. Let them info dump. It's not going to hurt you. In fact, it might just make therapy a little bit better.